Born to the physician Nicomachus in 384 BCE, Aristotle was raised in the city of Stagira, located on the Chalcidic peninsula of Macedonia. Much of the details of his life remain unclear, even to this day. However, of the following points we can be reasonably certain. At around 17 years of age, he was sent to Plato's academy in Athens, where he would continue to work for 20 years. The academy was one of the most influential among the educational institutions that arose in ancient Greece in the 4th century BCE. His lectures and teaching brought intellectuals from far and wide, stemming from a variety of disciplines, to engage in academic life there. Because of the varying perspectives associated with known members of the academy, it has been argued that Plato must have encouraged a diversity of views. Members of the academy would have had access to and studied Plato's dialogues, exploring a wide range of topics. Although little is known about how members were instructed, it is thought that they would have learnt through dialectic, lecture, systematic inquiry, writing, and reading. Following Plato's death in 347 BCE, his nephew Speusippus was appointed as the head of the academy. Some have cited this as the reason for Aristotle's departure from the academy shortly thereafter, though if this were the case, it probably wasn't the only reason. By this time, Aristotle's views were no longer in complete agreement with some of his teacher's most fundamental concepts. This would only become more defined with time. Others have linked his departure to the rising tensions between Athens and King Philip II of Macedon. This came to a head around the time of Aristotle's departure, when, despite Athenian resistance, Philip captured and sacked the capital of the Chalcidic Federation, Olympus, thereby claiming control of the neighbouring regions. Anti-Macedonian sentiment would have undoubtedly arisen to some degree in response. After leaving the academy, it is thought that Aristotle briefly lived in Assos, in Asia Minor, then the island of Lesbos, where he married the niece of Hermias of Artanaeus, a Greek tyrant whom he had first met at Plato's academy. Their daughter, Pythias, had the same name as her mother. Following the death of his wife, Aristotle had a son, Nicomachus, by a woman named Herpyllis, who remained Aristotle's companion for the rest of his life and whose goodness to the philosopher is even mentioned in his will. In 343 BCE, Aristotle left for the Macedonian capital Pella. It is commonly believed that this was at the request of King Philip, who required a tutor for his son Alexander, who would one day be called the Great. However, some scholars have questioned the exact extent of this tutorship, theorizing that it was primarily for the sons of the Macedonian gentry instead. During Alexander's reign, Aristotle founded a school of his own, the Lyceum. Aristotle's own work covered a similarly broad range of topics, from logic to metaphysics, rhetoric, poetics, politics, science, and ethics. Following Alexander's death in 323 BCE, anti-Macedonian sentiment returned to Athens. Aristotle was subsequently indicted on a charge of impiety, prompting his move to the city of Chalcis, where he died in 322 BCE. Although the man himself died long ago, the same cannot be said of his works. Today, Aristotle's ideas have a rich intellectual history that continues to be rediscovered and appreciated.